Dudes, it's Risa here today with the speed build. So, a little backstory. Back when Tiny Living first came out, one of the sim gurus gave the EA Game Changers a challenge to build a micro home, and that one's the one with only 32 tiles, for 3 sims with only 12,000 simoleons and no move objects. So, I thought I'd try that one out. So, you can see that I'm finagling with the roof a lot. What I really wanted from this build was to be able to have a room upstairs for the kid, because I made a family, so I have a mom and a dad and a kid, and so I really wanted that kid to be able to be upstairs, so we could have like a really nice look to the place, but I ended up not really being able to get that to work properly at first, so I spent a while trying to get that to work, because you need it to be an odd number of tiles wide so that it works, so you can center the roof on top. And I was trying to, at first, kind of like cheat and make it not a room so that the tiles didn't count and maybe I could get away with a bigger house in all, but that didn't end up working for me. So what I ended up doing was I created a room upstairs and put the roofs on either side and then a roof on top. And it ended up working, even though it was actually using every single tile I had. So I was using exactly 32 tiles by the end. So it took me a while to get the shape right. I tried out a bunch of different things, and I finally landed on being able to just kind of do it like this, where I made a room and then I had like a second like fake room in front to make it work. I tried a bunch of stuff to make it look okay. And none of that really worked out. So I ended up cheating a little bit. I got an extra like 3 tiles or something by having that like fake room. And then I got rid of the wall in a little bit. So I was going through and I was trying to like balance the fact that I only had 12,000 simoleons to work with. But I also wanted it to fit into like an aesthetic. And I realized how much I rely on move objects for getting things into tiny spaces. But I was able to get it to actually work in that bathroom. I just couldn't fit a sink in as well. But that was okay because I was just going to put a sink in the kitchen. So it's fine. You don't need a sink in the bathroom if you have a sink in the kitchen right outside, right? Totally. So at this point I was like, okay, if this is going to start looking like a barn, I might as well just go full into that aesthetic. So I went red at first, but then I decided that I didn't like the red because it was a whole 4 simoleons for each one instead of 2. So I was like, I just can't do that. I have to make it as cheap as possible. So I ended up going for a slightly darker one instead. I think it's green, because I was trying to get it to be I wanted as much money as possible to actually furnish the place and make it look nice. So, I ended up going around and, settling on this one from Seasons. And I think it looks really nice. I really like the dark greenish color to it. I missed out placing some stuff upstairs, and I'll fix it, I promise. I really, really appreciate ladders. That's what I have to say right now, because before ladders, I never would have been able to make this layout work and do this for a micro home. So it ended up like super, super useful. I was trying to get them a TV because I feel like TVs are like super useful for getting fun up. And the cheapest one that there is that Penguin TV, which I hate with a passion, to be quite honest. And I know that there are cheaper ones in the debug menu, but I was kind of feeling like if I'm not using move objects, I might as well also not use debug objects, because it feels a little like cheating if it's going to be like a 25 simoleon TV. Like, it's a little cheaty, it feels like, you know? But I was going through and I was trying out all the other TVs, and I really just couldn't do it. And I ended up just getting the Penguin TV because I wanted them to have something to give them fun. And that's the best way to do it, is just give them a TV. So now I'm going to start trying to like fit a like dining area, and I really wanted to be able to do it inside, but there was no space to do it inside. So I did it a little outside one, And I tried to make it look nice and feel fun with those lights. I really like those lights, and I don't get to use them very much, so I was like, perfect, this is the perfect time to do it. And I end up using one of them. I don't use both, and I think it looks really, really cute, like, to be quite honest. Oh, here's where I try to fit like as much in for the kid as possible. I did a little test. There's a cut there because I play tested it to make sure the kid could actually sleep in his bed and use the table and stuff. And he can. It's all fully functional. So now I'm trying to make things like look nice. So I really wanted something to cover up the dining area, as it were, and fit the aesthetic. Normally what I would do is I would use I would make a little trellis myself out of fences, and I'd put some plants up there, but that doesn't work if you don't have Move Objects on. So I was trying to make do with some of the actually pre-made ones, and I ended up going with this one from Island Living. And it looks really cute, and I think it does fit the aesthetic of the build. But I figured out a way to get those lights to work, because I just really like them. Here, I realized I actually had enough simoleons left over to start doing some landscaping. I really, really love this lot that I put this on. It's in Windenburg, and it's completely in the middle of nowhere, and it just looks so cool to me that it's like all of that, just all the plants surrounding it. Fantastic. So I wanted to kind of make it look like the plants were encroaching in on the build, to make it look like it's like fitting in the world, which I really like to do. So I gave them a wash tub and like a clothesline because it just felt like something that they would have. I don't know. I mean, I don't really like playing with laundry, but I like putting laundry in the game for like aesthetic purposes, which I know is silly, but you know. So I was trying to like make everything look nice. So I'm trying to get a rug that I like. And I start trying to use all of those shelving stuff from Eco Lifestyle. And I love all of the shelves from Eco Lifestyle so much. They are all so cute, but I couldn't get them to fit, really. So I ended up, like, that one I feel like looks like a kid's thing for some reason. So I ended up putting it up in his room. And I was trying to get something to work in the kitchen area. And I ended up going with the tiny living one because it fits, it fits literally, and it fits with the aesthetic. So I was enjoying that. I end up doing a lot of just like finagling with things in this build to try and make it look right. So I wanted to get some tiles down for them to eat on, and then I was like, why would I waste the money on tiles when I can just use terrain paint? So I messed around with terrain paint, and I found it was really hard for me to find one that I liked because all of the ones with stones on them, the grass part doesn't match the grass on this lot. So I was so mad, and I ended up just going with the pebble looking one. I really like using terrain paint in my builds because I feel like it makes your build look like it actually interacts with the world instead of just being like one-dimensional. So it really does help make something look really more involved in the environment. So now I discovered that you can use these vines from, I think it's Get Together, without Move Objects. So I went a little overboard with them for a while. I promise that I do end up taking them down, just toning it down a lot. But I was just, here's where I go overboard. I was so excited that I could use them. And then I was like, wait a second, no, it's a bit much. I still leave a lot of them though, because it's so cute. It really is. So here is the end of the build, and it ends up looking really cute in my opinion. So if you guys want to see more builds like this, make sure you subscribe to the channel and click that bell so you can get a notification when I post a new video. And here are some screenshots. Enjoy!